The Psule Hamikdashim, laws in the Holy Temple, about those things that are invalid as offerings. Oops, wrong. Oh, there we go. Chapter 5. When a person sets aside money for a sin offering and dies. So you put aside money, the person needs to bring a sin offering. When that person dies, so death is an atonement. And there's no reason now to bring that offering as an atonement, right? He doesn't need atonement anymore. So now the question is, what do you do with the money? Because the money has sanctity to it, because it was set aside for a purpose. That purpose cannot be used out anymore. The money should be thrown into the Mediterranean Sea, meaning it's got to be disposed of. You can't use that money. You can't be used for anything else. It was set aside for a sin offering, so it can't be set aside for another person's sin offering, because it was set aside for that person for their own sin offering. But they passed away. They achieved the atonement the harder way by passing away. Whatever. I don't think they chose that, but that's what happened, right? Similarly, when a person says and it's not like you could use it for something else because it's designated, right? If it was designated not for a sin offering, but for a burnt offering, that's different, because then that could be for that has an inclusive nature. Actually, it occurred to me some of the idea behind it. A person doesn't sin for their friend. They only sin for themselves. They only sin for themselves, right? So when you bring in the sin offering, it can only be for yourself, right?
You're atoned when you die?
Death is an atonement, yes. Yeah.
You say?
Huh?
There's no future sense.
Yeah. You got a few years to 120, but another 50 plus.
You too.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't benefit from it now, and it can't be used for anything. So it's got to be thrown away. Similarly, when a person sets aside money for a sin offering, the money is lost. Another sin offering is offered in its place. So you lost the money now, and then afterwards you found the money. So you brought another sin offering, right? And then the initial money is found. After the atonement was achieved, the money should be thrown into the Mediterranean Sea. Doesn't mean literally the Mediterranean Sea, but it means that you can't have benefit from it. You have to get rid of it.
No one else can either.
And no one else can either. Right. And the Mediterranean Sea is going to it's coins, right? So it's going to go down to the bottom of the sea. Right. There was
Time to go scuba diving.
Yeah. So number 2, is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When a person sets aside money for a sin offering, the money is lost, and he set aside other money in its stead, but did not have the opportunity to purchase a sin offering with the latter funds before the first funds were found. He should purchase a sin offering with the combined funds. The remainder should be used as for free will offering. So here's a little different. Well, since he sets the money aside for the purchase of sin offering, they should be used primarily for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's preferable for the purchase to be more expensive animal for sin offering than to have more money left over to purchase burnt offerings. So here he didn't get the atonement. In the previous one, he got the atonement. So now there's no need for this money anymore. But here he lost the money. He set aside other money, and then he found the money before he actually got the atonement. So so both monies could be used.
Mm-hmm.
So buy a more expensive one, preferably, There'll be leftover. Leftover is different. Right? Leftover monies is different. When you have leftover monies, so that could be used for the free will offering.
Only?
Remember, the money's holy,
Yeah, gotcha.
right?
Mhm.
So there's a difference between the what's the word I'm looking for? The Karen, the main part of the money, right? You're using it for the sacrifice, for your sin offering, right?
Yeah.
Now there might be leftover. Leftover is different than the mainstay of the money. In the previous one, it was the mainstay of the money. But this money now, I got my atonement. So this money now won't bring me atonement, right? It's the mainstay of the money. So then that's why it has to be thrown into Mediterranean. But over here, you didn't get your atonement yet. So you could couple the two together, buy a nicer sin offering, right? You'll still have leftover, perhaps. That could be used for a free will offering because it's only leftovers. Okay.
Mhm.
Instead of the principal, so to speak.
Can't be used for tzedakah.
No,
Okay, gotcha.
no, for another offering, because it's got holiness of a offering, for an offering. So it's a free will offering. That's kind of a tzedakah also, by the way. It's a tzedakah that's going to the base of Mikdash. Okay. When a person sets aside money for a sin offering, the money is lost, and he set aside an animal as a single offering in its stead. But before he sacrifices, the original funds were found. The animal was discovered to have a disqualifying physical blemish. It should be sold, and he should purchase a sin offering with the combined funds, and the remainder of it should be free will offering. So now it's another nuance to it. Sugazun. There's a new nuance to this. Are you following the nuance?
Mhm. The animal's not.
Before it was two monies that he had before he got the atonement. So then added together. But here he lost the first money, but now he set aside an animal, not money, right? But now that animal got a disqualifying blemish. So he can't use that animal. But
So,
he has to sell it because why does he have to sell it? Because it has holiness to it. Because it was set aside for an offering. So it does have holiness to it. So therefore, you have to take the money thereof, and now you combine the two monies, as you did in the previous one, and you can buy a nicer one, and the remainder will be for free will offerings. Okay, good. You got following the logic, that means you're following. Okay, number 4. When a person set aside an animal as a sin offering, it was lost. Now it's an animal that he set aside. Set aside money in its stead, but was not able to purchase an animal as a sin offering before the first animal was found. But it was discovered, right? It got lost and it got a disqualifying a physical blemish. It should be sold, and he should purchase a sin offering with the combined funds, and the remainder of it should be used for a free will offering. Same idea, but now it's the other way around. I'm going to let Tim in, please. Thanks. Right, it's the other way around. First time it was the money he had, and then right now he set aside an animal, and it came by disqualified, and he didn't get his atonement yet, so you sell that, use the two monies together. Same idea.
what's the difference though?
Because the first one, the previous one was that he set aside money, then he set aside an animal. Here it's he set aside an animal first,
Okay, gotcha.
right, and then he used money. So it's the other way around. It has the same conclusion. You might think it might not be because an animal is the offering itself. It's not the money. Money is only the potential for the offering, right? But itself also has a holiness to it, because once you put aside the physical money, right, for an offering, it's got a sanctity to it. Yeah, number 5. If he set aside 2 piles of money for surety, then he will be able to purchase an offering. Because listen, he doesn't, the animal might get a blemish or might just run off and I'll lose it, right? So, he wants to be sure, right? He should gain atonement with one of them and the other one should be used for free will offering. Yeah, exactly. So here you don't combine. Interesting. Here you don't combine the monies. You might think that you would, right?
You should not combine the two to purchase a single property.
Right. Because you set it aside two piles of money for two, one for one offering, one for another offering, just in case, one offering, there'll be a problem, right?
There are two separate monies.
To get at the same time, you separated them. Others, you separated them intentionally, one or the other, right? As opposed to in the previous ones, you only did one thing, but it got lost. So therefore now you did a second thing to replace it. So then they become a combination. Here, the intent was not for that. So therefore, each one had its intent to be the offering. So therefore, there you combine them. Here, no, two piles of money was one will be in the other one
Yeah.
would be
Separate thing.
right. Yeah, because one of them, he only needs atonement from one. That's first of all, right? And it's an insurance, not it's.
This is
So therefore, the second one, it's got holiness to it. So be for a free will offering. Okay. Number 6. Right. If he set aside an animal for a sin offering or money for a sin offering, because he thought that he was obligated to bring one, and then he discovered that he was not so obligated, the animal or the money is of ordinary status, it is not consecrated. Because he made a mistake here in his understanding. For the consecration was made in error, and hence it's not binding. He thought he needed to bring animal and money, right? No,
doesn't need atonement.
no, he needs atonement from the animal, but not the money. The money isn't sanctified, isn't consecrated.
I thought it meant that at first they thought he sinned, and they found out he didn't sin. So if he didn't
Where does
sin,
it say he didn't sin?
he thought obligated. They went and discovered that he's not obligated. He's not obligated because he didn't sin. That's why the
Is that what
money.
it means?
That's why you can use the money.
If he set aside the animal as sin offering, the money was sin offering because he thought that he was obligated to bring one. Yeah, okay, he's not obligated. He didn't sin. Correct.
So the money's cool.
So therefore, since he consecrated it in error, it doesn't have holiness to it. Yeah, correct. If he set aside 2 animals for a sin offering, or the money for 2 animals because he thought that he was obligated to bring both, then discovered that he was only liable to bring one, he should bring one as a sacrifice and the other one should be a free will offering.
Same as the other.
No,
Basically, it's the same as the first one.
no, because the latter, the one before they're not, because he didn't sin at all. Here he did sin, but he only has sinned once, so he only brings one. But then the question is which one, I guess. And therefore both have holiness to it.
Both of them. Part of the money should not be used for the offerings. Part of the animal should be left pasture and goes to pasture. People often. Why did the animals associated with the skin? is liable for one sin offering, the remaining under the law.
Okay, when he picks up coins in his hand, or was in the process of collecting them, and said, I will bring my sin offering from these, the remainder are not consecrated. In other words, if from these, he said, right? So that means he's saying from this, not all of this, right? So therefore, some of the coins are consecrated. It's not all consecrated. If there's money left over, it is considered just regular money. He doesn't have to bring anything over. Similarly, it appears to me that an inference can be drawn from the ruling to similar situations involving their sacrifice, other sacrifices, and the remain are not considered as consecrated.
It's an interesting footnote, 11.
It appears to me that an inference can be drawn from the ruling. Other sacrifice, okay. Okay, I have to stop here.
Thank you, Robert. Fine. Good day.
Thank you, folks.
Thank
See
you.
ya.